Okay, so let's get back into this. So the mask mandates bill. This is Representative Beiswinger this morning in the House State Affairs Committee with this bill. Let's watch.
Consideration RS 31857, represented by Beiswinger. Did I say it right? Beiswinger. All right, Beiswinger. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. It's some people say Budweiser, and I just say as long as it's not Bud Light, I'm good with it. So,
all right, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. This bill has come here before, passed before. It did not pass the Senate. Want to kind of take another crack at it. A lot of interest in the community, I think, in District 8. That's where I represent Boise Valley, Custer, and Elmore counties. And I think one thing we learned from the COVID, lots of government overreach and overreaction. So trying to put some guardrails back in place. This bill would simply prohibit any government official from imposing a mask mandate for the purpose of preventing the transmission of viruses and infectious disease and stuff like that. I would note this bill does exempt, healthcare workers. So if you're a dentist or a surgeon and you don't want your saliva going out on your patient, you would still could be required to wear a mask mandate in that sense. Or if you're, a welder or you work with concrete and you've got mask protections to keep dust out of your lungs, it doesn't apply to anything like that. So pretty simple bill. I think you'd find there's wide support in the state, and I would hope you would consider supporting this one as well.
Thank you, Representative Beiswinger. Is there questions for Representative Barbieri?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Beiswinger, is this identical to what we did last year, or is there edits from that?
Representative?
From what I looked at, I wasn't here 2 years ago. When I tried to compare it, it looked almost exactly the same. It was or extremely similar. I guess Senator Lenny is here. Yeah, so it is the exact same bill.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Seeing none, the RS is properly before the committee. Representative Palmer.
I would move to send RS 31857. Introduce.
Do we need a motion to introduce RS 31857? Is there discussion on that motion? Representative Achilles.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick comment on the motion. I think when this comes back to committee, I am concerned that this seems much more than just guardrails on mask mandates, but it's an outright prohibition. I would like to see some medical professionals or public health professionals participate in the hearing when this comes back so we can get their perspective on it too.
Representative, I don't know if you can promise that, but you're certainly welcome. Representative Achilles, I mean, the sponsor can't force those folks to be here, but you can definitely ask them, and they're always welcome in committee. So yes, we hope that they show up and answer any questions. Committee, any further discussion?
Oh dear. For some reason it feels as though like Achilles is like, he thinks he's like a, what are those people? What I'm trying to find a nice word, where they just sit up there and they make demands of you. Oh, please bring forward me this, bring forward me that. Like, unbelievable. Well, folks, you know what I got here? You know what this is? This is the Select Subcommittee on the Coronavirus Pandemic. This is the after-action review of the COVID-19 pandemic, the lessons learned and a path forward. This is this is an official final report from the congressional subcommittee that was published December 4, 2024. So just over a month ago, this report came out. And there's an entire 10-page section on masks. It's section 5. You can find it on page 203. And it goes through masks and mask mandates were ineffective at controlling the spread of COVID-19. So there's 11 pages here, folks, 11 pages worth of information on a timeline of how the masking thing even came about, the studies that were supposedly cited that were supposed to defend the use of masks and mask mandates. And then of course, the studies that were conducted after the pandemic subsided, and its detrimental effect that mask mandates had on children. And so to answer and to kind of get into the in front of a Representative Achilles here and everybody else out there who still thinks that mask mandates are a thing and should be a thing. We've got all this, and I'm going to walk through some of this and highlight some of those things. But I kind of want to stress the point. You might be out there asking, like, why do we even care? Right? Why do we care anymore? Especially in Idaho, because I get emails. I'm trying to shut this thing off here. Okay. I get emails. I get messages. I get people saying like, just don't comply. Just don't comply. We don't need a law. We don't need this. We don't need that. I'm sorry, but you do. You do need it, because it's not for you to say you don't need to comply. It's telling government agencies that there is a law that says they cannot do this. So when you're not complying, right, because you're not going to comply anyway, now you can point to a statute. You can point to law that tells that courthouse or that health district or that school district or what other rogue agency out there wants to do mask mandates, that they can't do this. That is it against the law for them to be doing this, if they even do it, because now it will be against the law. So most people are going to be like, well, we can't do it anymore. So we can recommend it. We can make a noise about it. And those who are going to do it, I mean, I still walk around today and still people are still wearing masks alone in their car. Right. So, it happens. And if you think it's not, that they won't even try it again. Just earlier this month, there was this is out of, now again, this is California, right? But that being said, California mentality is everywhere, right? That's, if you want to talk about a real virus that spreads. This was posted on January 3rd of this year. And those are signs that are posted outside a transportation terminal, right? So if you're going to be in these transportation terminals, masks are required per the California Department of Health, Public Health, whatever it's called. Okay. So that was just a couple of weeks ago. So these things are still out there. This mentality is still out there, even though with a congressional report that's 500 pages long, there's 11 pages of it talk about masks specifically. And so I want to kind of walk you through some of this, because we ended up, and I'll tell you what we did. Some of you already know what you did. Some of you participated already. But the first thing was, let's go down this timeline. Is there any way to make this, I feel like I'm a little too small down there. I don't know. It's my own, maybe it's my my own insecurities. But here, okay. So page 203, here's how it starts out. During a 60 Minutes interview, Dr. Fauci stated, when you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is, right? And so we all remember that. We all remember the first time Fauci came out and said, it's not really a thing. You don't really need to be doing that thing. The CDC later on went so far as posting a video the next month saying that we should be wearing masks, and their video that they posted it taught the public how to make masks with a t-shirt and a rubber band. You can get rid of the PDF. It's too small to read anyway. It taught people how to make a mask with a t-shirt, right? Think about what you know now, the people who wear masks, right? The CDC told you to make a mask with a t-shirt and a rubber band, while before they were saying you don't even need one, right? That's the timeline. That's a real timeline. That's really what happened, okay? Then there was a review that was carried out by the Cochrane collaboration, which is one of the most highly regarded, and I'm reading from the report, one of the most highly regarded methodologies in evidence-based healthcare. And they said that there was not a clear reduction. They did not show a clear reduction in respiratory viral infection with the use of a medical and surgical mask. So basically they said there was no clear difference in the effectiveness between medical surgical masks compared with the N95 masks that you hear about, that we eventually started hearing about, right? So there was no difference between the two. Okay. Then in May of 2021, because of the changes in the Biden administration, states began lifting their mask mandates. And then in July, they said that vaccinated individuals should be wearing masks again if they were indoors. I mean, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, some of you may have forgotten about this, but this is real. This really happened. Okay, so all that to say that eventually we love doing this, folks. We love walking through this stuff. They talked about sanitation measures, right? When you're wearing the mask, if you don't regularly change the mask, you are collecting moisture, bacteria. You can get a fungal infection. I mean, there were so many different things. I mean, did you see how these people would wear masks? They'd pull it down, they'd pull it up, they'd pull it down, they'd pull it up, all throughout the day. It was disgusting. And then, of course, the children, right? This is all about masking children in the house. Now let's throw up that if you can find it. Let's throw up that graph. Look at this graph. This is a over a specific period of time here. Yeah, fast forward here. There it is. Now the orange line is places where there was a mask mandate in place. In the black line is places where there was no. Oh no, I'm sorry. It could be the other way around. The black line is where there is a mandate, and the orange line is when there is no mandate. Okay? And if you can see here, those lines overlap. They overlap constantly. So at the highest peak there, the place that had a mask mandate had their daily new cases per 100,000 people spiked in places where there was a mask mandate. Right? So the science is there, Representative Achilles and all you folks out there. The science is there. The other area is that there was quantifiable harm in the masking of children.